You know, sometimes we talk about success like it's a finish line, a moment you cross when you have made it. But what if success is actually a rhythm, a heartbeat that keeps pulsing through our choices, our families, and the legacies we build day by day? Hi everyone, I'm Yusuf, and you're listening to BizBlend Podcast. My guest today, Albert Butler, understands that rhythm better than most. He's not just a CPA or a partner in a national accounting firm. He's someone who believes accounting is the heartbeat of business and the key to personal finance. With a background rooted in discipline, purpose, and service, Albert has made it his mission to empower the next generation of leaders, families, and entrepreneurs to build something that lasts, not just in wealth, but in wisdom. So today, we are not talking about numbers or markets. We are talking about something much deeper. What it really takes to grow, to stay grounded, and to create a legacy that outlives us. Albert, welcome to the show.
Wow, Yusuf, that is an amazing introduction. Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here. And I'm looking forward to a wonderful conversation. I have so many things I want to share with your audience, and so many stories I like to tell. So I am willing and able to be as transparent as possible.
It's an honor to have you, Albert. Albert, you often said that if you follow the money, you'll find answers. I find it fascinating because it suggests me that money isn't just math, it's a meaning. Can you tell us more about it?
Well, I look at all conflicts, losses, issues that we run into as the human race, that we use money as a tool for making transactions take place. But if you go through your history, money has been here since almost the beginning of time. But we also had the bartering system. So any issues that would normally come up, it would normally revert back to how the money made its way through the cycle. Any concerns or questions that come up normally turns into a pathway, and you just follow it. You'll find out that it might have been motivated by money. And if money is the motivator, sometimes the issues become greater than what they really should be. So I always tell people, if you have a concern, if you have a problem, follow the money. You actually might find the answer.
That's a very impressive thought, I would say. Also, you built an incredible career, CPA, partner, and author, all while maintaining your core principles. But it gets me curious. How do you personally distinguish between purpose and ambition?
Purpose. Well, let's start with purpose first. I think identifying your actual purpose is layered into what your upbringing and rearing surrounded you with. My purpose is my family. I'm a big believer in family. Family is so coveted and so important to me, which is why I wrote the book, because it's all the information that's been passed on to me from my parents, my grandparents, my great-grandparents, aunts, uncles, friends, relatives across the board, that I felt like I had to put the information on paper because I didn't want to forget it. And I wanted to make sure I could share it. And I was always concerned, what if something was to happen to me? I have 4 children. And if I could not have an opportunity to share all the wisdom, all those trials, all the tribulations, all those things with my children, I would be just devastated. And it'd be the ultimate regret. So purpose, my purpose is my family. Success is all built into that. I told my wife many years ago that my job is just a job. My career is my family. So in every instance of that, I'm doing what I have to do to make sure that my family is able to leverage off my shoulders like I've leveraged off my parents' shoulders and be able to take it to the next generation. So I always think that's very important. As a family, as a man, as your own responsibility, as your right to be a protector and a provider, having the information to share and making it your purpose will always generate your success. So a career, hey, is the family. A job, it's just what I do.
And what about the ambition part?
Overall ambition is for the overall growth of the family. And everybody's role is kind of layered into that. It keeps me going. It keeps me motivated. It keeps me excited that I have a divine purpose to be that person for my family. And that's my ambition. That's my growth factor. That's going to lead to the next success, the next success, the next success. I really don't think that motivation can do it. Sometimes you got to have discipline. You got to, well, not even sometimes, all the time. Discipline backed with consistency will fortify your ambition to make sure that you can grow to the next level.
Talking about discipline, I read that you earned a 4.0 GPA, which is perfect.
Right.
And how do you personally handle that precision that accounting demands while also being creative and follow your intuition when making big decisions?
Well, I'll tell you that I have a mantra that says training, practice, work. Training is when you are on your one-on-one where you're actually working on what your discipline really is and you want to dive into it. It's your own personal ambition, like we just mentioned, that you're putting in by yourself. The practice is when you actually leave out from being alone and go with others. And you actually pair with maybe a master or a mentor or an instructor. And you're able to ask those questions that you couldn't get answered when you was doing your training. And that will fortify your overall learning. And then the work part. The work part is fun. If you trained and you practice, when it's time to go to work or when it's time to play the game, when it's time to be called upon, you're fully prepared to go. So training, practice, work is my mantra. And it's one of those things that has helped me champion all the efforts that I've wanted to have, and at the same time be creative and be able to bring all these things together, from going to school and getting good grades, training, practice, work, from being able to write a book, training, practice, work. It's all comes back to the same mantra. And if you stay consistent, you'll achieve your goals.
That's a very nuanced take, I would say, because for many people, in fact, me, when I was growing up, discipline was more like a cage, not a foundation that you've just mentioned. It's a foundation when, if built upon rightly, it'll help you make the blocks better.
That's exactly right. It can be, but when you open the cage up and make it your foundation for being, wow, it flips the script almost when you say, hey, you know what? Let's take for fitness, for example. If I decide I want to go and get strong muscles and be fast and strong, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to get every day. I'm going to be disciplined. I'm going to get up, put my shoes on. I'm going to go for that run. Nothing's going to stop me because that's my own personal commitment to myself. And do you really want to let yourself down? That's my question. Do you really want to let yourself down? I don't want to let myself down. I'm a big believer in everything I do today is for my future self. I don't want to let my future self down. And I don't want to disappoint my past self because my past self had those same ambitions too. So for me to do something today, not to follow through for my future self and not to give honor to my past self is disrespectful. And I don't want to disrespect myself.
That's I like how people scripted. Oh, change the script from keys to the foundation when they need it. What mindset shift you are seeing in them? How younger professionals define success as compared to your generation or previous generations?
That's an amazing question, Yusuf. I think the generational shift is layered in all of the additional information that's available that I didn't have when I was coming up. I think too that shift is driven by access. But the question comes back to, what are you going to do with the access? It concerns me. I'll be very transparent that information overload becomes a space of not being able to discern what's right and what's wrong. And because not having that previous generation to give true guidance, to lay out a pathway, to write down their legacy, it creates the opportunity for not being able to make those good decisions for yourself. So just because you have the information doesn't always mean you know what to do with it. And it still takes you to lean up on that previous generation to actually give you the guidance, to give you the blueprint, to give you the pathway, to give you the example for the right path to take.
I was recently reading a study that mentioned that most of Gen Zs and Gen Alpha are, instead of asking their parents, their elders or siblings, they just Google it. And obviously, Google can have most of your answers, but it does not have that empathy that you want. For example, if my friend is crying, Google may tell me to talk to him or listen to him. But Google might not tell me how to embrace him or her or them so that they can feel. I think that's the take you are saying, that they might have the information, but they don't know how to use it. Did I get it right?
Exactly right. No, that's perfect. That is perfect. That's exactly right. Not having that empathy, not having an example, not having a personal touch is something that we all need as a human being, just to be able to have that pack that you can lean upon.
Do you think this new generation has a new definition that prioritizes flexibility and fulfillment? And will these things make business more human, or does it risk losing some of that humanness?
Interesting way that you position that question. I'm gonna turn it around and a little bit for you. Business and humanity are the same thing. We need business. We need commerce. It's a part of the necessities of life. So having a generation to shift and think about just having a job, or having a generation to shift to think about having a career and having an entrepreneurial spirit, I think that's where the clash comes in at. Because if you're looking for flexibility in what? Because you just want to go out to go have fun, you want to go out to go and chill, you want to go and just do whatever, as compared to building something. Do you want to build something? Do you want to build something greater than what you were before? Do you want to be a part of something that's greater than what you did than yourself? Those are personal questions that you have to ask yourself. And I think what you're really going to see is that there will be a separation, because some that will want to have that will separate themselves to do it, while some that want to have fun and the quote unquote flexibility will not. It's all about what you prioritize for your own personal development and your own personal growth. So I'm a big Stephen Covey fan. Stephen Covey wrote The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, and one of his habits is begin with the end in mind. And if you begin your journey with where you're trying to go, and you're working your way through that, it helps you make those decisions of, am I looking for flexibility to go do other stuff, or am I doing the stuff I want to do to grow for my divine purpose? And I think that's the question that the next generations have to be able to ask for themselves.
That's very deep and very hard to digest upon. I will need to think on it a lot more.
Right.
Moving ahead, you talk about legacy, building block by block. And legacy does sound like it is something that we have to build. But some might argue that if you are running for legacy, you are also letting go of peace. What would you have to say to that?
Is there peace in legacy? Is the real question then. Because you can look at peace as being something that's an individual thing, or is it peace for a family thing, or is it peace for your overall purpose? I find peace in what I do because it's humbling that I'm doing something that's not just for me. It's for others that are around me. And every step that I take, even getting up this morning to get dressed and come to my office to get ready for another day, another week, another work week, to put in the time it takes to continue to grow, is part of my peace. So it comes to the question, another individual question of, how do you define peace? Because we all have to find out peace in our own personal walk in life. And my peace is what I do, is my purpose. It's my why. And when it all comes back to that, nothing interferes with it.
I think what I could get it from your proposition is that it'll be peaceful if you're building that aligns with your purpose. For example, your job is peaceful, your work is peaceful because it aligns with your purpose to provide and protect for your family.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. And I think I could add to that by saying, if you're not walking down the road of building something, what piece is it in that? I would always be anxious. I think it would create anxiety that I need to go do something. It would build up inside of me that, I really should be moving. I really should be as I think as a people, as a collective group, we're supposed to be active. We're supposed to be having new things to champion, new things to see, new things to experience. All of that is part of your piece. And if you can make that piece part of what you do for a career, oh my gosh, you're in heaven. You're literally be in heaven.
That's a very good take, sir. You talk about empowering families through financial literacy, but in practice, families begin to have that conversation. It's very hard for them. It might be intimidating for them. How do you do that? And let's just say one of our listeners want to start their journey in financial literacy. How could they start it?
Yusuf, I'll tell you that it is a taboo topic as in families. I'm over here in the U.S. and one of the things that's critical is that certain things are not taught to children in school. The political process, paying your taxes, understanding the money cycle. Those things are expected to be taught at home. And when you become an adult and you don't know how to champion those efforts, you find yourself kind of lost. And if you're lost, you make mistakes. So I would tell people, if you truly love your family, if you truly love your children, be transparent with your children. Be open with your children. Let them see how the sausage is made. Let them see what the bills look like. Let them see the budget for the month. Let them see what it takes to make all these wonderful things happen. Let them understand the struggle and know that the struggle is real. Because the last thing that you really want is for your child to become an adult and they have no idea what it takes to be an adult. And part of being an adult and being able to be independent is being able to take care of yourself. And being able to take care of yourself is understanding how to budget, understanding that you do need to make sure that you can cover your expenses. You don't want to overspend. You want to be able to have something to invest. You want to have something on the side to save for a rainy day. All those things are critical for the conversation to happen at the table, at the kitchen table, in a safe place. Because when you have them outside of that, either you have them alone, or you have them with friends who are in the same bucket as you, or you make mistakes. And that's the last thing you want. So if you love your kids, if you love your family, if you love your brothers, you love your sisters, if you truly love them, be transparent with them and be open with them. I'll tell you that if anybody's interested in the book, I have a whole subchapter on bonus about money, and it walks you through the way that, from my perspective, can line you up to be able to have that conversation with your family.
Albert, are there any ways that our listeners can connect with you? Maybe your LinkedIn or website or an Instagram account?
Definitely. So you can find me, this Albert Butler CPA. If you type it in, I'm gonna load up all over Google. Also, if you my firm itself, it's be the first link on there if you look for it. My book Life is on Amazon right now, just albertbutler.com. And all of that stuff. So all those ways are ways you can connect with me. Also on Instagram, Albert Butler CPA.
So listeners, if you want to connect, these were your places. Albert, before concluding this podcast, do you have any last messages or remarks that you want to give to our listeners?
Well, one of the things that I want to share with the listeners is that I always encourage to have an I can attitude, an I can spirit. One of my mantras that I include is I can because I will. And I can because I will was birthed out of a conversation with my father. One day he told me that, hey, son, I can't do that. And it devastated me when he said it. And it made me feel inside that I always can if my will says that I can. So I want your listeners to know that if you have it in your heart, if you want to know but that you really want to do something, always say that you can. Because if you say that you can, you're telling yourself the truth. But if you say yourself that you can't, you're also telling yourself the truth. It's all about what you say. What you think, what you say turns into what you do. Hope everybody can really appreciate that and use it for their own personal growth.
That is very powerful. I know it's a very cliche, but even the word I am impossible says I am possible. So yes, you're very right in that.
That's exactly right.
So today's conversation reminded me that numbers tell stories, and behind every balance sheet, there's a heartbeat. Albert, thank you for reminding us that financial excellence isn't just about accumulation, but alignment. Aligning your money with your values, your goals, your purpose, and your legacy with the love we leave behind. To our listeners, take a moment this week to follow the money, not to chase it, but to understand what it is saying about your time, your energy, and your priorities. Because maybe that's where the answers have been all along. Until next time, keep blending purpose with progress. This was BizBlend with Yusuf.